Today, we're going to work on my car. As you can see, I've got my 1977 Mercury Cougar. It needs a fuel pump, and the way I've routed it in over the winter as kind of an emergency process isn't exactly kosher, but it worked. It got me through. So I'm deciding on this really cold, blustery April Saturday afternoon, and there's snowflakes kind of blustering in the back to do this. Great time, right? Well, just for the sake of all my neighbors, to let them have a good chuckle, talking to myself into a camera, and for everybody else, I'm going to have at it. My fuel pump, I believe, is starting to fail. Lots of clatter noise. I went underneath the engine, and I was worried I had another rod knock. I went after it with a stethoscope at the advice of Mike. I want to say thank you, Mike. And started poking around, and my oil pan was silent. So I know not another rod knock. To Andrew and Billy, I thank you for your help on that. And to Mike as well, who guided me through it. Guided us through it. So Mike told me just poke around, see what I can find. Where's the noise coming from? And it was coming from the fuel pump. I mean, it was quiet, clack, 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 clack. So there's only two options. Either the fuel pump is wore out, which I believe it kind of is, because I'm having a hard time starting my car now, and that's kind of a new thing. Or the concentric on the timing concentric on the cam loosened up, and it's making that noise. In which case, if that's what's happening, then the whole front of the motor has to come apart so that I can fix it. Praying it's not coming to that. I do think it's potential it's the fuel pump, but even there, if the concentric's coming loose, it wouldn't be giving me the full pressure that it would if it was solid. So this is take one, hoping it's just the fuel pump. Let's open it up, see what we got. All right, so here's where I'm going to show you some disappointment, some changes I had to make, and some potential, progress to make in the future. This is under my hood. If you notice, I used to have really super fancy valve covers. They're gone. And the reason they're gone is I simply could not get the rocker arms from smacking into the baffle. And the baffle has to be there. No matter, I beat them senseless, the baffles, to try to clearance the rocker arms. And I just couldn't do it. I went after it with a grinder, and I just wound up ruining it. I just decided to go back. So eventually, I'm going to get a new replacement sticker, and I'm just going to restore these valve covers. Just use what I've got. This is a 351 modified engine on a 77 Mercury Cougar XR7. So as you can see, I'm going to have to do some nice rerouting on the distributor. This is a hole off. I'm going to have to pull the distributor, rotate it this way, one full hole to get it back so that number one is actually on number one. Right now I'm actually one post off. I don't think it makes that much of a difference, but it bothers me, so I'm going to fix it. And then I've got to replace, these mounts for wires. Coming over here, you can see where it gets messy. This here has been pushed up. And I can't exactly remember why I had to do it. Well, I had to clear the power steering pump, but I don't remember. Oh, it's because I added a fuel rail that comes down here. And let me just pull this off, and I'll better explain it. All right. Filter's off. I put this banjo style fitting on, come down on the bottom of the carburetor. The reason I did that is I wanted the fuel pressure gauge. I wanted to make sure I was monitoring my fuel pressure. Right now it says 4 psi, but it's been operating at about 5 psi when its engine's running. And the reason I wanted to do that is because it was without the pressure regulator, which is right now right here. It was running at almost between 7 and 8 pounds of pressure. This Edelbrock isn't happy at that. It likes to run at 6 psi, between 4.5 and 6. And I'm thinking this is making a big difference. So I want to run this fuel pressure on the line here, this gauge on the line, But what that did then is it created a whole bunch of geometry issues with the fuel line. So in my haste to get this thing running this winter when it was 40 below, I just simply pulled the fuel line up this way, and now the geometry's off so that I can still run into my fuel filter, to the pressure regulator. And the big issue here is it bends, makes a really bad bend right here. I want to eliminate all that. I want to be able to run just straight back and still have my fuel pressure regulator. So I want to be able to run it straight back, down and over. So the goal today is not just to replace the fuel pump, but to reroute my fuel line, make this safe, run it under the wiring rather than over it and doing this kind of weird stuff. That being said, the only real visible example of what I'm trying to do, because there's no space under this hood anyway, is on Irish Outlaw with his El Camino. What he did was, I saw him run his fuel pump line to the carburetor, to the fender. He mounted the fuel pressure regulator to the fender right here, which means I'm going to have to drill into the fender. Maybe well, if I put it here, it's going to come back. So I might put it here. So I'll run the line from here up to the fender. Maybe that way I don't have to drill into the fender with the smaller taps. And then from the fender, I'm going to route it through here and under the wiring. And that way I can still have my pressure regulator, fuel filter, and fresh line. And by the way, let me show you. Always get at least, I believe this is a fuel line, but not just standard fuel line. Get fuel injection fuel line with the standard, I believe it's JR30R or J30R9 or higher. This is J30R9. I got that at one parts place, and I got, oh no, this is -49, JR-49. Maybe I'm wrong on that. It's either 14 or 49. Anyway, and this right here is the 30R-9 fuel injection hose. I got 3 feet of this. I got 5 feet of this. I'll try to use the better quality stuff, but sparingly, because for the most part, I want to take the rod and use metal rod, 5/16 rod. Got a shot of the tools I'm going to be using. Blah, 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 blah. Good times. That's going to help. You'll see what that's for. Yeah. I say we get to it. Okay, so what you see here is the fuel line to the fuel pump. And it is cut. So they put a rubber line in here between here and the fuel pump, which is kind of blocked, and man, you can't see much right now. Oh, there it is. I'm not certain why they did that, but there's a line in here, the original. I'm going to put it on my next pump, and just simply secure the new line on the same way they did. And then the other side is what I'm working on. And you can see with these clamps, I've clamped off the fuel line, so hopefully right now we're not going to make a ton of a mess to begin with. Let's give it a shot. Well, having pulled the fuel pump, I'm kind of thinking I found my problem. That's gonna sound just like that sound I was hearing. Clack, 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 clack. I think that's it. It's been a good fuel pump. I think it's been on there a while. Let's work on the next one. All right, well, I'll give it a shot. New fuel pump's installed. Now it's time for the hoses. Okay. Woo! New fuel pump. Pain in, especially that top bolt. But it's installed. Time to get the hoses situated. Well, it's working. I had a slight leak down in here. I fixed it. I'd used an old clamp. This clamp sucks. These ones with the thin, they hold pretty well. You can see now my fuel filter. Remember last time it would drop and then go and drop and go. Definitely had a problem with the fuel pump. I've got my fuel pressure regulator mounted right here. I got a new hose coming through the front, routed so that I can bypass that mess. It's free play. It's not hitting anything. It's not gonna touch any hot metal. And as I'm coming around here, you can see a solid 5 psi. About right where I want. Nothing leaking. Going through here. Got my hose mounted through the front. Here. And then no more clack, 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 clack. I think it's fixed. Well, it's done. Polished it up a little bit. It looks a little better. Oh, shiny. Shiny car. Ooh, look at that. Pretty car. Yep, another epic journey. Go get yourself a classic and enjoy the journey. Out.